Howdy, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. You got Digital Asset Hutch here, bringing you everything you need to know about that digital asset and US economy space. And it's been a pretty eventful week to say the least for y'all. So let's go ahead and dive in to kind of get y'all caught up to speed and exactly on what happened this week. So, let's just go ahead and take a look at that CoinMarketCap website, which we all know is that one-stop shop for everything you need. And as you can see, Bitcoin is bouncing right on that 23K level, which we haven't seen in a while, in some time now. Let's go ahead and pull up that graph, and you can see we haven't been at this level since before FTX crash, right after that initial peak before going into the FTX crash. It's near that local high of right after Three Arrows Capital crashed. So that is gonna probably cause a little bit resistance towards that 3,000 or 23,500 level. So just make sure to keep your eyes on that. As you can see here, Ethereum reclaim that $200 billion market cap, and Bitcoin is now approaching that $500 billion market cap. And if you look over here in the total market cap for the crypto space, we are actually above 1 trillion, and we are now using that as support. So that is an exciting time right now for us. As you can see here, we were hovering, it got rejected, and now we finally took off above it. So everything is looking into the bullish space, which is a little surprising, and I will go ahead and dive into that after I go ahead and show you the CBI. As you can see, that CBI is coming in at 13, which it is peaking from 12 on that last video, so we are still trending up on those top and bottom indicators. So a correction should be coming soon, and you would have thought with this newest information we would have had it by now. And what is this information you are talking about? Well, another exchange got added to this list. As you can see here, Genesis is now the most recent to have bankruptcy and file a Chapter 11 filing for bankruptcy. Now, yes, we did just go ahead and get this news, and as you can see, the markets are pumping off of this news. So what's going on here? Because with with Genesis going into that Chapter 11 bankruptcy, essentially $1 to $10 billion in liabilities are just gone, thin air. Now, with them going bankrupt, they can't really just go ahead and sell this Bitcoin right now because it is locked up now with the court proceedings going on and judge determining how those funds can go be used. But as you can see here, 3.5 billion is just to the top 50 creditors alone. So as you can see, this is the same amount as FTX, but we're not seeing the same reaction as FTX. With FTX, we had a massive drop downward of roughly, let's go ahead and get a rough estimate for you, of roughly 40%. And based off of this news, which happened around right here, we've had a 13% pump so far. So, is it a sign that the whales are finally get exhausted? Who knows? We can only sit back and wait and find out, but this is some bullish indicators in my opinion, just because with bankruptcy, like you saw with Three Arrows Capital and pretty much this entire list, anytime Three Arrows, Celsius, Voyager, FTX, BlockFi, anytime we got news that those were going bankrupt, we saw those sharp declines. So, also kind of something to go along with this story is a part of DCG is Genesis. So DCG is that main company, and Genesis is one of the branches underneath it. So DCG is also kind of in the hole of one of their parent companies going bankrupt. And who owns? What does DCG also own? As you can see, it is CoinDesk. So it does look like they are trying to sell CoinDesk, which is the most popular publication for the crypto space, to acquire some funds for DCG so the entire company doesn't go bankrupt. Also, some companies under that DCG umbrella is Grayscale, CoinDesk, Genesis, Gemini Earn, which is more for retail, while the Genesis is more of institutional. So this is kind of also why might not see as big of a leg down. Sorry about that. As a big of a leg down, just because this is institutional players. So institutions are kind of more intelligent when it comes to holding their Bitcoin, I guess you could say, because they're going to go ahead and take it off of that exchange pretty quickly. But as you can see, $1 to $10 billion were still held there. So yes, as you can see, we're still dealing with some of that contagion from FTX because $175 million was lost to the exchange. Genesis lost $175 million to FTX when they collapsed. But also, this is even going back further than that because with Three Arrows Capital, they actually put Genesis in a $1.2 billion hole. So maybe that's also why we didn't see another big leg down, is because it could also be already baked into the price. Just with, we kind of knew they were gonna go bankrupt, going back to Three Arrows and FTX with how much of a hole they put in. So since they are selling CoinDesk most likely, or they're just trying to get funds for it, I do want y'all to go ahead and check out this video by Charles Hoskinson. He is the leader of ADA. He started ADA. He is all about the media and being fair, because some people would say Cardano hasn't had the best relationship with the media. A lot of journalists kind of shoot it down. Now, he is wanting to buy it so they could, kind of change that narrative. And also, he was talking about a bond for journalism where you have to pay a principal, and if it turns out your story is not true, you lose your principal. So I thought that was a pretty cool. I'd highly suggest y'all go check out this video. I will try to link it below. I've had some problems putting links in the description, but hopefully I can get that solved out for you and it'll be easier. And then I do also want to kind of show why we're not seeing as big of reactions, because as you can see, we're approaching 50% of Bitcoin not moving within the last 2 years, which this is also a bullish indicator because it shows that people are now moving towards holding more. They're kind of done selling their pieces. So this is also something I do want y'all to pay attention to. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into it. The charts just for a quick second so you can kind of see what we were talking about here. Because as I did show y'all, I believe on Wednesday, we had that bull flag forming, and as you can see, we are in what it looks like as the middle of that playing out. Because as you guys remember, you do take it, and it does look like we do have about roughly $1,500 to go before we hit the resistance just from that bull flag. But also, just to kind of bring in, this is that chart that I was talking to you about. Unfortunately, I can't get it on mine because you do have to pay for it. But I just wanted to highlight it and take a photo of it from someone's stream. So this is that volume, or price by volume, that I was mentioning. And as you can see, when I did upload that video, we were about right here of that downhill that I was talking about, of us rolling to. And as you can see, it kind of played out perfect as well for us. We did roll down that hill to a little gap, and we are butting our heads up against this resistance. So, like I have mentioned before, I am fairly confident the bottom is in. Now, no one is ever sure. We could obviously get a correction back below it to below 15.5. I just don't see it in my view. I do see we could go back to maybe 20, 19.5, 18.5 in that area. So just some ranges to look out for. Just wanted to show that to y'all because we are breaking a lot of trends. So we've broken this level of high. We confirmed it. I know I released a video where we broke out of it, but we never retested it, but we confirmed that retest and breaking above it, so that is good. And then we also got past this. So once we can get past this local level of high, we might be really moving, so that could be exciting. Now as you can see here, what might have triggered this? I mean, obviously we had the news of bankruptcy and we went up instead of down, but what kind of could have triggered the massive move upwards that we did see to initiate? Well, a couple of things could have started. And I wanted to highlight this because Fox News kind of did uh, break this in a way. Now, by no means is this confirmed. This is a conspiracy theory, but it is kind of interesting when you map the times on the graph because you do see right at that time it started to go up. So essentially, if you guys do remember, about a week or two ago, all of the airlines and all of the planes in the air had to get grounded due to a system malfunction with our main and backup. So the FAA had to halt the departures and ground a lot of flights due to that computer outage. So that notice of air mission system, we had a primary one and a faulty one just in case that one failed, and both of them failed at the same time. So some people are saying that since no one has released how this happened, that it could have been attack, a cyber attack, as you can see here with the quote. So as you can see for America, it did happen on the 11th. The Philippines happened, I believe, before the new year, and then Canada did follow suit right after. So if you kind of go to the graph, I just want to highlight this for you because I do find conspiracy theories interesting. By no means do I believe in most of them, but you can't really argue that. We had the Philippines around the 1st, then we had ours 10 days later. So Philippines was this first line, and then ours happened here. And then Canada's happened, I believe, a day after. Now, a lot of people are saying that these companies, or not these companies, these nations had to pay these cyber attacks in Bitcoin. Well, if you know about Bitcoin, you can track it everywhere, so it is a little fishy that they would request it in Bitcoin. The only positive about that is you can't like get it back. Like you can't request that back. Well, you can request it, but you can't like go and grab it out of that person's wallet. So that is one reason. So I guess they could do that, swap it to Ethereum and Tornado Cash it, but that's just breaking another law because tornado cashing is illegal. So don't do that by any means. That is a financial advice because do not tornado cash. That's just breaking a law and that's a felony. So I feel comfortable saying that to y'all and putting financial advice claim on that because yeah, don't break a law. Pretty simple. But yeah, just wanted to highlight and point that out because what you could see is, oh, these governments had to go and buy this Bitcoin for their balance sheet to then add to or buy the Bitcoin to add to the balance sheet to then send to these cyber attackers, the malwares. And as you can see, we started the pump right during that time. So I mean, just with the on-chain metrics, you can kind of tell that there is a possibility. By no guarantees is it true. And I do want to go ahead and then also highlight the liquidations because right after that did happen, as you can see, we started to trigger a lot of liquidating shorts. And I would say that this has to be around $1 billion total now, just from the start of that attack. So you have what? 59 million, 100 million, so you have 150, we'll call that 200, add that to, that's 600 right there, and then, that's 850 just counting the kind of bigger wicks. So definitely around $1 billion wrecked by shorts with the start of the year. So as you can see, those bulls are the bears are finally getting exhausted, and you can see that those Bitcoin on the on-chain metrics are finally not moving as much as they were. So it does look like it is forming the perfect typhoon for a massive wave up in Bitcoin. And then lastly, to kind of support this is I do want to show you one last thing on CoinMarketCap, and that is the Bitcoin dominance, because you do know I love this graph. It is a beautiful graph to see. So let's go ahead and change this to just the start of last year. Not this year, sorry. The start of last year until now. And as you can see here, there seems to be a flip going on here. Bitcoin and all these other coins' dominance are going up, which typically in the past you have seen it was just Bitcoin and everything else was getting moved into Bitcoin. But I think now that the market is maturing and you see more of top 10 coins kind of staying there and getting a bigger market cap of around, billions of dollars. I see some could get moved, and it's showing in the on-chain metrics. And as you can see with just Tether, USD, these coins are going down. So if you look, USD, for example, went from 5.4% to 4.1%. And then with Tether, you went from 8.3% to 6.41%. So all of this money in stable coins, which is a coin that's designated to tied to the dollar, which by no means is a guarantee it's designated to, keyword designated. We've seen a lot of stablecoins depeg this bear market, so be careful on which ones you do pick if you ever want to invest in some, just to kind of leave your money there and to catch a trade. But yes, as you can see, we've seen a lot of percent decline in just those stable coins into these actual coins, with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Cardano. So as you can see, there is a change of sentiment, and it looks like all of the capital that people were sitting on in these stablecoins, it looks like they're finally deploying it. So I wanted to highlight that for you. I hope y'all did go ahead and enjoy today's video. If you could, drop a like below and subscribe. It does help get me out there, and I do just want to educate and get a conversation started at the end of the day. So I do hope y'all can stay safe this next week and have a great one. Bye bye.